So thank you everybody for watching the next video in the Stories of Change Signature Research Area Method Symposium. So today we have Casey and Jeffrey Walkwell from KIAS, which is the Kule Institute of Advanced Studies. So thank you both for being here for this interview. So we'll just pop into the first question, which is, in 3 sentences or less, what does KIAS do?
Well, KIAS is funded to support research in the social sciences, humanities, and arts. So we run grant programs, small seed grant programs that faculty will apply to and get funding to develop their research projects.
Awesome, perfect. Great, I guess we'll just pop into the next question then, which is, what kinds of stories can KIAS help to tell, leveraging your unique skills and resources?
So I think, first of all, what we try to do is to support others to tell stories. So we try to provide researchers with the funding to tell stories about their own research. That said, we also collaborate with other research support organizations on campus to create contexts and venues for stories. So this is sort of pre-COVID, but we would work with the Vice President Research Office on the annual sort of SHRC celebration, which would bring together graduate students and faculty and administrators to talk about successful SHRC projects and so on. So those are where we, in some sense, try to put on a party where stories can be told. And then, of course, we have KIAS-specific celebrations. Again, before COVID, we used to partner with the Faculty of Arts every year to have a celebration of arts research and KIAS-funded research, and give people a chance to tell their story.
Awesome. That sounds wonderful. Sounds like KIAS is telling lots of wonderful stories at the U of A. That's great.
And if I can actually insert one more thing, and this is something Casey can maybe talk to, but we also try to keep, we try to be a source of information for people who want to engage the community or tell stories in different venues. We have things like newsletters. We keep information about who the contact points are. And maybe, Casey, you want to talk a little bit about how you keep a sort of encyclopedia of knowledge about how to connect with people.
Indeed. We work really closely with all of the groups, a lot of the groups on campus, who's doing what, who's kind of involved in what areas. We also work really closely with the Arts Collaboration Enterprise, ACE, who also has very close touch points with everything going on campus. So if we don't know who to reach out to for work that you're looking to do, we know who to reach out to, who will know who to reach out to.
That's perfect. And I know you also work a lot with the signature research areas, such as Stories of Change. So that's also awesome. Great. So our next question is, what do you wish that U of A researchers, both students and faculty, knew about KIAS that might not be obvious from your website?
That's a good one. I think in this particular moment of the pandemic, one of the things I'd like people to know is that we're trying to be flexible. I mean, we have, in order to give money out equitably and transparently, we have to have grant programs and criteria and stuff like this. But what we're trying to do, especially with the small dialogue grants where there's no deadline, you contact us, is we're trying to be flexible so that people can ask for support of a sort that they might not have asked for before, but because of the pandemic and the isolation, they now need. So for example, we've been trying to figure out, is it possible to get, is it possible to fund childcare? Because somebody, just in order to complete some project needs that time. So we're trying to be flexible, and I wish, I'd like people to know that they can talk to us, and the answer won't be an immediate no. It might be a sort of, I've got to think about that. but But if you're thinking creatively, talk to us. We'd like to be nimble and creative. And in fact, that's one of the advantages of Kios, is that we're not shirk. We can be flexible.
Wow, that's really amazing and awesome, and it's awesome to know too. Okay, perfect. And one of our final questions is, can you give one real life example of Kios helping to tell an important story with U of A researchers?
Well, I think one story that maybe gets sort of lost sometimes is the way Kios supported researchers have been part of other projects that were perhaps led on the other side of campus or something like that. And to give an example, the energy systems, future energy systems, which is a large, well-funded project. It's sort of led out of science and engineering. But in the first round, it was strictly an engineering and science proposal to government, and that didn't work well. And so they reached out to a Kios-funded group that were working at the intersections, petrocultures, the intersections of energy and so on like that. People like Sheena Wilson, at the time Imre Zeman, and something like that. And those, if you will, that research agenda, all that wealth of knowledge and interesting ideas and activities that people like Sheena and Imre and others had developed, that some of that got woven into the second application, which was then successful. In a similar fashion, the mountain studies people, we supported a mountain studies cluster, which were people in kinesiology and sport and recreation, and people in English. Some of them have now retired. Dr. Sleeman, who was sort of an expert on sort of mountain poetry or very interested in that. And then, so we were supporting this, and then we were supporting it so it could be part of a larger, what was eventually a successful network of centers of excellence proposal, which understandably is focused on the ecological components and the geology of mountains and so on like that, but also has this arts, culture, hiking, recreation component. So I think that's one of the things that, you know, we try to help people make the right connections, and it's not just our side of campus.
Yeah, that sounds super intersectional, and it's really interesting to see how the intersectionality of these kind of projects really brings it forward, moves it forward, and really like gives it that extra kind of pizzazz to step it up. That's awesome. Casey, I'm not sure if you were gonna mention a project as well, or.
I would say one of the Kios's highlights is the rapid research response programs that we've done over the years. We've launched a number of them that are timely with what's going on in the world, what's happening around Canada or Alberta or globally. And these projects are often, someone comes to us with an idea saying, look, this is happening right now. We would like to respond to this with highlighting the expertise that the University of Alberta has. So we've helped work with a number of groups on campus. Jeffrey would know the projects better than I would, that have really touched on events that are critical that are happening right in Alberta or in Canada at the time, to highlight the expertise that the U of A has in these areas, to highlight what's going on, and to shift some of the focus to say, like, look, this is what we know, this is what we want to tell, and this is the story we want to help shape and bring to the spotlight.
Oh, also super cool. It is amazing how many projects Kios can help with and really amp up. That's awesome. Perfect. And then our final question that we have for today is, what is the best way for researchers to learn more about Kios or to get into contact with Kios?
So contact, you should email kias@ualberta.ca. And that will get to Casey, and then, you know, Casey will bring me in or somebody else if it's appropriate. So that's the best way to contact. I would say go to our website, And one of the things that we have on our website, so for example, if you're looking to apply for one of our grant programs, and we have 2 programs that have no deadlines, they're just a rolling. We have a budget, we have a rough sense of how many we're going to fund a month, and you know, so you can send us an idea at any time. So go to the website, the dialogue grants and the team grants. And you don't have to have it all worked out. You can email us and sort of say, hey, I'm thinking along these lines. Does this sort of fit? And we can sort of enter into a dialogue so we can understand how we can best support you and what is, you know, what's the best way forward on this. So the website is a good place to start. And on the website, we have an area, and Casey will correct me, where we've actually put up, and this is only available to people within the U of A domain, we have put up successful proposals. So there's a small library. You can see what other people have proposed. And we got everybody's permission. We went through a consultation process, but we try to make sure that there are example projects there, which I've got to say, you know, one of the real gifts of being in KIAS is seeing the incredible creativity and interesting ways that people conceive of and tell others about research. And it's sort of fun to read a lot of other people's stuff. It always gives me ideas of, oh, I could do that in a different way. In fact, personally, I would like to join all these projects, you know, as a sort of hanger-on, you know, sort of the cheerleader Rockwell in the background. So I'm right, Casey, that we have that library that is linked to.
We do. We also have a section under our projects page where you can see all of the major grants that we funded, and you can actually read about each of the grants, a little blurb about each of our cluster grants and each of the major researchers who we've supported over the years. And you can see who we supported, the projects that they've been involved in with KIAS, the cluster grants, and and what each of these grants is about. And we've been keeping this list since 2015. We've now got about 30 or 40 grants in there that you can read about the various projects. And if you're looking to do something, to start a new research project, you're a new researcher on campus, you're a graduate student, it's worth going through there to say, hey, I wonder if somebody's done something similar. And you can just kind of go through, see what other cluster grant recipients have done, and build off of that and reach out and contact them, find and learn more about it.
Well, that's awesome. That's super helpful to have readily available. So thank you both again so much for doing this quick interview with me. I really appreciate it, and it was great to get a little bit of more insight into KIAS and how it works. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.